In a stunning escalation of its long-range capabilities, Ukraine just landed a direct hit on one of the most vital arteries of Russia's war machine. Nearly 600 miles from the Ukrainian border, deep inside Russia's Chuvash Republic, the city of Cheboksary has just become ground zero in a new kind of warfare, one where precision, not numbers, defines victory. At the heart of that city sat the VNIIR Progress Plant, a key cog in Vladimir Putin's military-industrial complex. This factory was not just another facility, it was the electronic brain behind many of Russia's deadliest weapons. And now, it is a smoking crater. On June 8, 2025, Ukraine executed one of its boldest and most effective drone strikes to date. Unlike previous operations that relied on overwhelming force, hundreds of drones flying en masse to confuse Russian air defenses, this one required just 2 stealthy drones. That's right. 2 unmanned aircraft slipped past Russia's radar, traveled almost 600 miles, and touched down with surgical precision. The result was devastating. Fireballs lit up the Cheboksary skyline. Black smoke billowed from the destroyed compound. Video footage from both Ukraine's general staff and independent sources confirmed it. This was no accidental debris fire, like the Kremlin often claims. This was a direct hit, caught on camera with footage showing the drone's final descent and the instant of impact. But what made this factory so important? The VNIIR Progress Plant was more than just a production site. It was the nerve center for multiple Russian weapon systems. It built navigation systems, flight controls, and GPS modules used in nearly every advanced Russian drone and missile. It manufactured UMPK kits, the critical technology that transforms outdated Soviet bombs into deadly glide bombs. It even produced components for Russia's naval systems, including electronics used in nuclear submarines and ship control systems. This strike did not just damage one plant, it ripped through the entire connective tissue of Russia's aerial warfare capability. And that was just the beginning. At the same time, Ukraine launched a coordinated wave of strikes on additional Russian targets, hitting industrial facilities in Voronezh, Nizhny Novgorod, and Tambov. These attacks forced airport closures in key cities like Saratov and Kazan. Ukraine has now caused the shutdown of over 217 Russian airfields since the beginning of the year, a number that surpasses the combined total of 2 previous years. The message is clear. No part of Russia is off limits anymore. The drones used in the Cheboksary strike were AN-196 Lyuty UAVs, developed and upgraded by Ukroboronprom. Introduced in late 2022, these drones have evolved rapidly. By late 2024, Ukraine had upgraded the Lyuty with a 165-pound warhead, a 50% increase in firepower. Combined with a range of over 600 miles and possibly up to 1,200 miles, this drone is now a fearsome, long-range weapon. Built from lightweight composite materials with a low radar profile, the Lyuty proved it can deliver a lethal blow without needing an army of decoys. So, what did this strike actually destroy? First, it took out the components essential for several of Russia's most lethal drones, including the Lancet, the Orlan 10, and new Iranian-inspired Shahed variants. These drones have been the backbone of Russia's air campaign. Ukraine's June 8th strike effectively grounded many of them, not by shooting them out of the sky, but by stopping them from ever getting off the ground. Second, it dismantled part of Russia's missile program. The Progress Plant made guidance systems for the Iskander, KH-101, and KR-69 missiles. These missiles have terrorized Ukraine's cities for years. Now, with production lines halted and components reduced to ash, Russia's ability to build or maintain them is under immediate threat. Take the Iskander, for example, a ballistic missile capable of carrying thermobaric or earth-penetrating warheads with a range of over 300 miles, or the KH-101, a stealth cruise missile with a 1,700-mile range and a nuclear-capable variant. These are not just weapons, they are strategic tools of terror, and Ukraine just cracked their internal circuitry. But perhaps the most dramatic consequence is the impact on Russia's glide bomb campaign. These bombs, retrofitted from old Soviet stockpiles, have caused horrific destruction across Ukraine. A single glide bomb can weigh up to 6,600 pounds, and Russia was launching thousands each month, 3,000 in March 2024 alone. The UMPK kits that turn these dumb bombs into precision-guided weapons? They were made at the Progress plant. No kits, no glide bombs. Military analyst Mark Galeotti summed it up best when he told CNN, "From a political perspective, it's the Ukrainians who demonstrate that they are the nimble, imaginative, effective ones, and the Russians are just thuggish brutes who continue to grind along." In other words, where Russia relies on overwhelming quantity, Ukraine is focusing on strategic precision. That difference in approach is changing the game. In recent weeks, Ukraine has not only executed the Operation Spiderweb drone attack that crippled 40 Russian bombers, but it has also conducted precision strikes that are dismantling Russia's supply chain from the inside out. The Progress plant strike may not stop Russia's war machine overnight, but it forces delays, creates shortages, and injects uncertainty into Putin's logistics pipeline. Each day that plant is out of commission is another day Russia cannot replenish its drone and missile inventory, and in a war of attrition, time is a weapon. Before we continue, hit that like button to help us beat the YouTube algorithm and to show your support. And do not forget, hit that subscribe button to show your support to the channel. So, what does this all mean going forward? Russia will certainly try to rebuild the plant, relocate production, or ramp up alternative supply chains, but that takes time. Ukraine just bought itself with 2 well-placed drones, and with more strikes likely to follow, Ukraine is showing it can strike the brains of Russia's military, not just the body. The big question now is, can Ukraine sustain these attacks long enough to fracture Russia's offensive capacity for good? That will depend on continued intelligence gathering, international support, and innovation on the battlefield. But if this strike is any indication, Ukraine has learned that the most powerful blows are not necessarily the loudest. They are the smartest.